Python is one of the emerging programming languages. According to the most recent figures, Python is the most used coding language for about 80% of developers. The syntax of this high level programming language is simple to understand. Python's large library system makes it a best choice for data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence projects. So, hello learners, welcome to Simplilearn's YouTube channel, and today we will create a Minesweeper game using Python. But before we begin, if you love watching tech videos, subscribe to our channel, like the tutorial, and hit the bell icon to never miss an update. And now, we'll see the demo of what we will create today, that is the Minesweeper game. So this is our Minesweeper game. So first we have a frame and we have our title here, that is Minesweeper game. Then we have the cells left, that is 36. We have set the size of the board to 36 only. So Minesweeper features a grid of clickable squares that we can see here that has hidden mines scattered throughout the board. And the objective is to clear the board without detonating any mines, with help from clues about the number of neighboring mines in each field. As if I click on this field, you will see two. So there would be two mines near this box. That could be here, here, here. That could be like horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. And that would be to the adjacent boxes only. So here it could be a mine, here. So if you click on a mine, the game would be over for you. So you have to click on the numbers and be aware of not detonating the mines and solve the puzzle. So moving on. Now we will have a simple quiz for you guys. So your question for the quiz is, which of the following concepts is not a part of Python? And your options are, first is pointers, second is loops, third is dynamic typing, and the fourth is all of the above. Please answer in the comment section below and we'll update the correct answer in the pinned comment. You can pause the video, give it a thought, and answer in the comment section. And I have an insightful for you guys. If you are focused on building strong foundational skills for career growth, in that case, you can check out a free course to learn Python basics with a completion certificate from Skillup by Simplilearn. You can check the Python basics course in the description box below. We will give the link there. You can just go and check it out. So now we'll start with the tutorial, and now we'll create a folder, name it as Minesweeper, and inside we'll open the command prompt and write the command code space period and press enter. So we'll get our command prompt open, and here we'll create a file and name it as main.py. And now we'll start our code to make a Minesweeper game. So first thing, we will import the package, that would be the Tkinter. So from Tkinter, we'll import all the classes, and now we will create a root and initialize the tk instance, and now we'll configure this window, and using configure you can change the background color or text, the window, or any element or widget of the Tkinter widget. So here we would set the background color and we'll set it as black. And moving on, now we'll set the geometry, that would be the size of the Tkinter window. So first I will show you how our window would look like. For that I will write the command root dot main loop. Now we'll save this file and run it. You could see that the Tkinter window has appeared and it has the background color as black. Now we'll set the geometry of this window. So that would be how much size it should appear when we just run our code. So for that, we will write the command root.geometry, and inside we will make the height and width of the window static. Not static, we will make it dynamic. For static, we can simply write 400x 700, and those would be in inverted commas. We'll save this and run this file. You could see that 400 is the width of the window and 700 is the height of the window. So we have the window with 400 width and 700 height, but we want the window to be dynamic. So for that, we will set the width and height above only. So we will write a variable width and set the width as 1400 and height equal to 720 pixels. Now in the geometry function, we would declare the dynamic variables that would take the width and height from here and set the geometry. So first we'll clear that, and for dynamic we'll write, and inside we'll write the width cross, and that would be the height. We can add a new file and name it as configure.py, and inside that we will paste these diameters and we will import this file. That would be import configure and using that file only we will set our so here we will set it as configure dot width, that is we are importing width from the configure file, configure module, and here height also from the configure module. So yeah, now we'll save this and run it. You can see that the window has taken the geometry function and made its diameters according to that only, that is width equal to 1400 and the height is equal to 720. Now we'll set the title of the window. For that we'll write the command root.title, and inside we will write the title we want for this game, that would be Minesweeper game, and we'll also use another function that would be resizable and make this as not resizable. That will prohibit to resize the window. It will have the particular diameters that we have defined. So to make that prohibit, we will pass false and false to the resizable function and save this and run it. So you could see that the title has changed to Minesweeper game and the window is not resizable now. So we can't see the arrow if we just hover the cursor on the edges of the window. We're not able to see that arrow. So the window has set as not resizable. And now in the window only, as I have shown you the demo, first we will create a frame here, and inside that frame we will have a title that will be the Minesweeper game and the count of the tiles that would be on the board, and inside another frame that would be just beneath this frame we would set the cells of the board or the cells number of cells that we're gonna have in the board. So for that, first we'll create a frame for our heading and the number of tiles or the number of cells. So for that we will create a variable and named as top frame, and using the frame widget, and we will pass the root inside it and set the background color with the help of the command bg equal to, and we'll set the color as gray, and now we'll set the width and height of the frame. So we can also set the width and height with the normal method, that is we can write the pixels, and we can also use the percentage method. So for that we will create a file and name it as new.py, and inside that we will import the height and width that was stored in configure.py. So we will write import configure, and here we will define functions for height and the width percentage. So in the whole window, if we want to set the frame height or width, we will just set the percentage or pass the percentage. So for that we will create the function and named as height underscore prct, that would be percentage, and inside we will pass the percentage that we want to have in the whole window, and we would return, that would be configure dot 8, and that would be divided by 100 into percentage. So this is the function that we have defined for the height, and now similarly we will define it for width underscore prct. We'll name this and we'll pass the percentage for width, and in return we'll get configure dot width, and that would be divided by 100, and then we'll multiply it with percentage. So this is how we would be defining the height and width for the following frames or for the following any widget in our Tkinter window and in our the project, that is the Minesweeper project. And moving to the main.py file, here we were creating the frame, and now we'll set its height and width. So to set the width, we'll set it inside this only. So right width, that would be equal to configure dot width, that is we are importing the width from the configure, that is the parameter of x-axis. So we want that frame to be in the whole Tkinter window. So for that we have imported configure dot width, that was 1400, and for height we will import from the new file, that would be new, and we have to import this new file also here. For that we'll write import new, and now new dot height underscore percentage, we'll just write the percentage for what we want to have the frame height. So we'll set it as 25. We'll save this and run it. So you would be able to see, first we'll change the color so that you guys would be able to see the frame. Okay, first we will place some widgets over there so that you can see the frame. First we'll place this, use the place geometry function here. For that we'll write the variable name top underscore frame and use the place geometry widget, and inside we will pass it as x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. So after placing this, we would be able to see a frame in the window. That is, you can see that the width equal to 1400 and height we have set it as 25% of the whole window. That was 25% of the 720. So this is how we set the dynamic height and width for our widgets. And now moving on, we will set the game title, and by the way guys, we have taken some reference from the pre-code camp. So now we will set the game title, and for that we would create a label. We have used the label widget here, that is capital L A B E L, and inside we would pass the top frame, that is the variable in which we have created the frame. So we have passed it so that the label that should be hover or shifted on to the top frame only. And after top frame we will pass bg, that would will set the background color for this label, and we'll set it as black. And we'll set the foreground color as white. And now we will write the text that we want to display. So we'll use text equal to Minesweeper game, and now we will set the font for the heading for the title. For that we'll write font equal to, and inside the circular brackets we would set the default font and the font size as 48. And now we will place this. We'll use the place geometry widget to place this label on the frame. So for that we would use the variable game underscore title and use the place widget dot place we will set the coordinates in the place geometry widget, and for that we'll write x equal to, and we'll set it in between. So for that we'll write x equal to, that is we will use the function from the new file, new dot width underscore percentage, and set the percentage as 25, and the y that would be equal to 0. Kitchen error. Okay, we haven't placed the comma here. So now we'll save this and run it. So you can see that we have the title here, that is Minesweeper game. So here we will just change the background color. That we'll use the hexa code for that color. That would be, I call it light violet or light blue. You guys can differentiate which color it is. So I have the hexa code for that. That is 5D 67E. So I have set the frame. Sorry, label. I'll save this and run it. So you guys can see that the color of the background of the title has been changed, and it's light blue, I guess. And we will have the same color in the frame for background. And we will change the width position. And when it for you guys, so this is the color for the frame, and we have just shifted it with the 5 percentage, that is the total is 1400. We have started it from 30% of 1400. So x value is 30% of 1400 and y value is 0. Now we'll create, now we will create another frame that is for the board of the game. So for that we will create a variable and name it as center frame, center underscore frame, and For that, we'll use the widget frame, and inside we'll pass root, and after root we'll set the background color as black, and we'll also set the width and height of the frame. So for width we'll use the percentage function. For that we'll use the new file, so that would be new dot width underscore percentage, and inside we'll pass the percentage, and we will pass the percentage as 75. So the width of this frame would be 75% of 1400. And now we'll set the height. We could set the height in the next line. We'll set the height, that would be equal to, we'll also use the percentage function here. For that we'll use new dot height underscore percentage, and inside we will pass the percentage, and that would be 75% of the 720 pixels. Now we will use the place geometry widget and place this frame. For that we will write x parameter, and that would be using the percentage function only. So for that we will write new dot width underscore percentage, and inside we will pass the percentage as 30. And for y dimension we will also use the percentage function, and for that we'll write new dot height underscore PRCT, and inside we will pass 30 only, 30% of the total height, that is 720. And moving on, now we will create the cells of the board, but first we'll show what we have done till now. So this is the frame here, and we have set the title as Minesweeper game, and here we will create the total count for the cells, and here we have also created a frame, and we have set the background color as black only, so you won't be able to differentiate that. So for a time being we will make the color as white and run it for you guys so that you can differentiate. So this is the frame. We have started it from 30%. Just see, that was 75%. We have the width and the 75% as height, and we have started from 30% of the total width. So we have started from the 30% of the total width here. So we have set the place method from 30% of the total width. Now moving on, we will create the board and then the buttons in it, so we can click it and find out the which number is there, or is there a mine. So for that we will create a file and name it as unit.py. So inside this unit.py file, we will create the class cell, and we'll create this class so that we can name it a cell. And because we know that for each cell we also like to give some attributes, that is if the cell is mine or not, or if this is a cell that is already open or is it closed. So that's exactly the time that it is a great idea thinking about creating a class, and we would name it as cell. So for that, first we will import the module from Tkinter. We'll import all the classes, and here we would also import the random module and import new file with the new module and import the configure, and also import the C types, and one more import sys. Now we'll create a class and name it as cell, and inside the class we will create variable all and initialize it. And now we will create a init function, and inside that we'll pass self and a variable that would indicate whether the cell is mine or not. So first is underscore mine, and first we'll set it as false only. Now inside this we'll have self dot is underscore mine, and that is equal to is underscore mine. And now we'll create the button object. So the cells of the board would be like the button only. When we click on it, whether it's a mine or it's a number. So for that we will create a function and named as create underscore button underscore object, and inside we'll pass self and the location where we want to place the button. And here we'll create a button, we'll create a variable btn, and inside we'll use the button widget. And inside this widget, first we'll pass the location, and I will tell you how we'll set the location for that, and that we'll set in the main file only. And we'll set the width, that would be equal to 12, and height, that would also be equal to 12, or no, height, I won't, I don't want to create the square buttons. So height equal to 4, and now here we will use button dot bind, that is here we will use the mouse functions, and for that we'll these brackets and button 1, that is the left button. And for that, we'll write the functioning self dot. We'll create a function for that and we'll name it as left underscore click underscore actions, and that would be for the left button. And similarly, we would use the bind function for right button, and to target the right button of the mouse we'll use button 3, and we will create a function for its functionality and name it as right underscore click underscore actions. Now, after binding the functions to the left click and the right click, we will define these left click actions and the right click actions. But before that, we will define another function and name it as show mines. So show underscore mine, and inside we'll pass self, and inside we will use self dot cell underscore button underscore object. First we will declare this, and inside the init function only we'll declare this self dot cell button object equal to none. Here we have created the object for the button, that is we will create all the cells as button only, and now we will configure this. So that we'll use configure, and inside we will use background color as red for mines. Like if we detect the mine, we will be seeing the red color. We would click the left click, and if it's a mine, it will show info box. Else, so if you click the mine, it would show the background color as red. And now, if you clicked on a mine, the game would be over. For that, we will use C types dot minll dot user 32, and we will call the message box here message box w, and inside we will pass 0 comma and the text you clicked on a mine. Play again, and pass another parameter, that is 0, and after that we'll exit the system, and for that we'll use system.exit, and now we will create a function If we click on a mine, so we should get all the boxes where there is a possibility to get a mine. uh, to get you guys understand, I will just run this, and this is our game. If I click on this box, that is you clicked on mine, and the game gets over. Okay, so my luck is not so good. So yeah, I clicked on this. So these are the boxes that have the possibility of getting a mine. So we can right click this and get them sorted. So we will get all these coordinates so that they would help us assuming that there would be a mine. So we will define a function for that. We'll get back to our code, and we will create a function that would be surrounded cells, surrounded underscore cells, and pass self in it. And inside we will create cells equal to, and here we will get self dot get underscore. We have to create a function get cell by access, or we can name it anything. We will create cell by access only. So first we will create this function that would be get cell by access, that it will help us to get the access or get the coordinates of the button. So for that we will define a function and named as fine get cell, sorry, by access, and inside we will pass self and x and y coordinates, and if we enter these coordinates we will get the cell, and inside we will run a loop. First we need a colon here, and now we'll run a loop that would be for cell, that is the class name, cell dot all, if cell dot x would be equal to x and cell dot y equal to y, then return the cell. Okay, if that cell is present, what we have passed as the x and y coordinate, then we would get the cell in return. And now to get the surrounded cells, side we will pass x coordinate, that would be self dot x minus 1. As if you see, we would be following the grid method, and that would be the columns and the rows. So this is 0 0, this is on the x-axis we are going on, this is 1 comma 0, 2 comma 0, 3 comma 0, 4 comma 0, 5 comma 0, and that's it. So this would be 5 comma 2. Okay, so to get the coordinates, like for this we would just subtract it, that would be x minus 1 and y minus 1. For this we would subtract x minus 1 and y minus 1, so that would be 5 minus 1, that would be 4, and 3 minus 1, that would be 2. So similarly, we will write the coordinates self dot x minus 1, and for the y coordinate we will write self dot y minus 1, and this is the first one. Now we'll get the second one, that would be this, and for this we'll do, no, we'll get this first, self dot x minus 1, and y coordinate would be self dot y, that is same only. So self dot get underscore cell underscore by underscore access, and inside we will pass the coordinates, that would be self dot x minus 1 and self dot y, and the next would be self dot x minus 1 and self dot y plus 1, as y coordinate has been increased by 1. So we'll just copy this, and after applying comma just paste it, and x minus 1 and y plus 1, and that would be the, sorry, I clicked on this. So x would be same and y has been increased, self dot x and self dot y plus 1. And now we'll move to the next one, that would be self dot x plus 1, and the y would be self dot y plus 1. So we'll paste this, and that would be x plus 1 and self dot y plus 1. And the next would be self dot x plus 1, and the y would be same, just a second. Okay, I have to change it, self dot x plus 1 and self dot y. Okay, now it would be self dot x plus 1 and self dot y minus 1. Minus 1. Okay, and this is the last one, that would be self dot x minus 1 and self dot y minus 1. So these are all the coordinates, and at the end we will close the square bracket, and we will use a decorator here, and that would be the, like, so now that we understood this, that I am going to move all those lines of code into a separated method, so that we could have a property that is going to represent the surrounded cells object. Now property is basically like an attribute that is read only, so we can mark these attributes as read only attributes by using a decorator, and we'll use a decorator, that would be by using at the rate, and name the decorator as property, that would be the read only. And we'll place a condition here, that would be cells equal to cell or cell in cells if cell is not none, then we should get cells in return. Now we will create another decorator and named as property only, that would be read only. And here we will define a function that would be surrounded cells mines length. That would be if we go to number 2. So what would be the length of the mines we got there? Mines underscore length, and inside we'll pass self, and we'll set the counter as 0, and after that we would run a loop for cell in self dot surrounded cells. That is, we have just seen what would be the surrounded cells here. Surrounded cells, and then we'll use the if condition. If cell dot is mine, if it's a mine, then we'll increase the counter. That would be counter plus equal to 1, and we'll return the counter. And now, before moving on, we will create some other variables. That would be, and before that we should define the grid size. That is how much it should be boxes on the board. We are using the square only, so we'll make the grid size as 6, and we'll also define cell count, and that would be equal to grid underscore size to the power 2, and the mines count. What should be the mines count? It should equal to cell count and the floor division, so that it should be a integer only, by 4. And moving to unit.py file again, now we'll create the variables, and we have created is mine if it's a mine, and button object. Now we'll get if the button is opened, and we'll set it as false only, and we'll create another, that is mine candidate. That is if we have, oh sorry, that is if we have clicked on a button or a cell and a number comes out, and if it's 2, then what are the chances that the other boxes can be a candidate to be a mine? So we will also set it as false. and we have set the button object equal to none, and here we'll set self.x equal to x, and self.y equal to y, and we'll pass x and y in it. Okay, here we will get the cell count. For that, we'll use the configure file in which we have decided entered the cell count. So for that, we'll use configure dot cell underscore count, and then we'll create another variable that would be cell underscore count underscore label underscore object, and set it as none. And at last, we'll append the list, that would be append the object to the cell.all list. For that, we'll write cell.all.append, and inside we'll pass self. Now we will create the functions for left and right click actions. So for that, we will create a function and we'll name it as left click actions, and inside we'll pass self and event, and if is underscore mine, so we'll self dot show mine, else if self dot surrounded cells mines length equal to 0, and we'll set it in the condition only, and inside we'll run a for loop for cell underscore object in self dot surrounded cells cell underscore object dot show underscore cell self dot show underscore cell, And if mines count is equal to the cells left count, then the player will be won. So we will write if cell dot cell underscore count equal to settings dot it's not setting, let's configure dot mines underscore count. So side we will do c types dot window dot user 32 dot message box w, and inside will pass 0, and then congratulations, you won the game. Game over. And then we'll pass 0, and now we'll unbind the mouse clicks. So self dot cell underscore button underscore object dot unbind, and we'll unbind the left key first. That would be button -1, and then we'll unbind the second key. That is the right key. Button 3, and now we will create a function for show cell. So for that we will create the function show cell and pass self in it, and inside write if not self dot is opened, that we have already assigned as false. If it's not open, then the class cell dot cell underscore count minus equal to 1. Now write self dot cell button object, we will configure it cell underscore button underscore object. We'll configure this, pass the text as self dot surrounded underscore cells underscore mines underscore length. And now we'll put a if condition. If cell dot that is cell count label object we will just configure it dot configure and inside will pass text equal to, we'll use the lambda that would be cells left so we have created the function for show cell, that is in the first frame we will be having the title that would be the Minesweeper game, and then we will having the how much cells are left. So we have created the function for that, and here we will configure this self dot cell underscore button underscore object dot configure, and we'll set the background color, and we'll set the background color as white. Now self will change is opened equal to true. Now it has been opened, we have clicked on that and we have turned it as true. Now we have created the function for the show cell. So if we click on the cell and if it's not open, then the count would be -1. And now we have configured it. There was spelling mistake, and we have configured it, and at last we have set it as true. Now we will define the function for the right click actions. So we will name it as right underscore click underscore actions, and inside we'll pass self and an event. if not self dot is mine candidate, if it's knows the candidate, we'll set this as true, else so repeat यहाँ से कट है. If not self dot is mine candidate, then we will configure the button object, and for that we'll write self dot cell underscore button underscore object. Now we'll configure it and set the background color as orange, and now set the is mine candidate to true. So for that we'll write self dot is underscore mine underscore candidate and set it as true. Now else we will set the configuration for the cell button object. For that we'll write self dot cell underscore button underscore object and we'll configure it, and we'll set the background color as white. And now we will set the is mine candidate to false. So for that we'll write self dot is underscore mine underscore candidate and set it as false. And now we will define a static method for the randomization of the mines so that we can get the mines in a random way. So first we will create a decorator and a static method, and inside this we will create a function. थोड़ा कट हो गया, कोई आ गया था. And inside this we will create a function and name it as randomize mines, and inside that we will create a variable and name it as picked underscore cells. That is, we will pick the cells that would be converted to random mines. We will use the random function here, that would be random, or the random module, that would be random dot sample, and inside we'll pass cell dot all, that is we can choose that the random function would choose any from all the cells, and the second variable we would be passing would be configure dot mines underscore count, and that was in capital. and inside we'll run a for loop so that it would choose mine. So for picked underscore cell in picked cells, picked underscore cell is mine, and at last we would create a function and pass self in it and return a lambda function that would be cell and self dot x, self dot y. Now moving to the main.py file. Now we'll set the grid size here. With that, we'll run a loop for x in range configure dot grid size and for y in range configure dot grid size, and inside we will create an object for the class c equal to cell, and inside we will pass the parameters x comma y. And first we have to import it, import unit. Now we will create button object, button underscore object, and inside we'll pass center frame as these would be there in the center frame only. And now showing some error, so okay, so from unit we will import cell class. Yeah. And center underscore frame, and there's a spelling mistake for center, so it would be center underscore frame. And now we would set the grid geometry, that would be c dot cell underscore button underscore object, and we'll use the grid geometry and set the column as x and row as y. Now we'll call the label from the cell class. For that we'll write cell dot create underscore cell underscore count underscore label, and inside we'll pass top frame for the count of the remaining cells as we have seen earlier. And for that we will write cell dot cell underscore count underscore label underscore object and use the place geometry method. And x equal to, and we have set the functions in new file. So x equal to new dot width underscore percentage, and inside we'll pass the percentage. We'll pass it as 42, and that is underscore and comma y equal to new dot height underscore percentage, and we'll pass as 15%. And beneath that we will call the randomize mines function cell dot randomize underscore mines, so our game is ready. Now we will run the main.py file. We will save this and run it. So you could see that our game is running fine. So we have clicked on a mine. So we have run it again. So we have clicked on the second column. So it shows that there would be 3 mines. So this, and this is a candidate for being a mine. And we are taking risk. We will click on this. Game over. We clicked on a mine. So guys, our project is ready. Our game is ready. So guys, our project is ready and our game is running fine. So you guys can check it out. And with that, we have come to the end of this session. And I have an insightful for you guys. That is, if you are aiming to get certified in Python programming and want to build a Python software development career, in that case, you can check this Python certificate course by Simplilearn, which will open the doors for the best career opportunities. To find the details, I will give the link in the description box below. You could check it out, and this would be the ideal solution to help you build your career in the right direction. And I hope the session was interesting and informative. If you liked it, please let us know in the comment section below. And also do subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more from Simplilearn.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.